Robo Twist is an automatic jar opener that takes all of the hard work out of opening jars for you. Or does it? That's what I'm going to find out in my review of Robo Twist. I went to the store to pick up 12 items that I wanted to test out with Robo Twist. It turns out one of them I can't actually use with it, so I ended up testing 11. I wanted to use all new jars and bottles that had not been opened yet. So that's how I performed my test. And you'll see in a minute that Robo Twist did a pretty good job. There's a few things to keep in mind. You're not technically supposed to use plastic containers, but I use plastic containers because I think most people will use them. And even though you're not supposed to use it with them, Robo Twist did a pretty good job with those as well. The width of the lid can be between 1.2 inches and 3.5 inches, and I pretty much tested that entire range. I will say that a 2-liter bottle of soda, that's really on the extreme small end of the range, and it didn't work on that one. All the rest of them, it did work on. To use Robo Twist, all you do is balance it on top of a jar, like that. Press the button for 3 seconds, and watch it do its magic. I tested on a number of different sized bottles and jars, plastic and glass, and I went from smallest to largest. And as you'll see, except for the very smallest one, which is a 2-liter soda bottle, it performed quite well. Well, the Powerade bottle, it seems to have shut off somehow. So I gotta investigate why it would have shut off, because it's still stuck in the bottle, so I gotta figure that out. Although I'm not sure why the Powerade bottle it stopped on. All I had to do was push the button and it opened right back up, so I don't really see that as a major problem. Nice, I love that pop that it makes when it opens the jar by itself. Pretty cool. I thought that it actually had a problem with the ketchup bottle, but it did in fact open it. It just seemed to slide off quickly, unlike some of the other ones, but the ketchup bottle did work. This time it popped upward, which is the first time I've seen that. The pickle jar, which I thought was going to be one of the most difficult, was actually the fastest, under 15 seconds. So that one actually did quite well. The orange juice bottle even had a label across the bottle to the cap, and it still took it off, so I'm actually impressed by that. It did work in the peanut butter jar, but I was getting worried for a second because it was starting to push in the sides of this soft jar. But it eventually got the jar lid off, so I still give Robo Twist the credit on this one. I had originally planned on trying this bottle of coffee creamer. This arm would have to hold on to this section in order to turn the cap. So in the case of a very thick cap, it won't work. Maybe the two negative observations I have about Robo Twist are, number one, it takes a long time. Depending on the size of your lid, it can take anywhere from 15 seconds to a minute. Now, if you're someone who needs help opening a jar, that minute might be well spent using Robo Twist. In that case, it may or may not be a negative. The other potential negative is that it's quite loud. Again, if you need a jar open and you can't do it yourself, that may not be a problem either. But those are the two primary negatives that I found, that it's kind of loud and it takes a long time. The product seems well suited to people who might have arthritis or have other problems why they might regularly struggle to open jars. I mean, at $20, it's a lot for a jar opener. But if something that you regularly struggle with, it might be a good investment. If the design of Robo Twist looks familiar, you might recall a product from several years ago called One Touch Jar Opener, which to me, they look identical. I don't know if it's been a licensed design or if it's copied, but Robo Twist is essentially a modern version of One Touch Jar Opener. And that product worked pretty well too. Now, some people are going to say, do you even need a product like that? If you're someone who has issues which might prevent you from opening jars easily, the answer could be yes. To someone like me, I don't really have a problem. I probably wouldn't have picked this up myself. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have value to other people who need help opening jars. So overall, my assessment of Robo Twist is that besides the minor complaints that it's kind of loud and takes a while, is that it works. It works pretty well, actually. So if you need help opening jars regularly, this is probably a product you might want to consider. If you've used Robo Twist, I'd like to hear what you think because you might have a different opinion than I do. And if you like this video, I would appreciate a subscribe so I can continue to bring you as seen on TV products in the future. Until next time, this is James White with Freakin Reviews. Thank you.